Thanks. So proud of this group. What a gritty performance, and they found a way when it matters the most to get their job done. Penn State was a heck of a football team. I had a lot of respect for them coming into the game, but have more after the game. It's a really good team, well coached, and it was a tough matchup. But these guys are resilient, and they found a way to make a play when it mattered the most. And that's what, again, is to me, what great teams, great organizations, they're able to, at that moment that they need to do their job or make a play, they do it. And the last play doesn't matter. There's unpredictable things that happen all the time, and they find a way to make it work. And I'm really proud of them, excited for this next opportunity. We'll enjoy this thing today and tomorrow before we figure out who our opponent is, and then we got to get healthy and get back to work for one less guaranteed.
Okay, thank you, Coach. And now we'll open it up to questions for everyone. Remember to please raise your hand. A microphone will be brought to you. Please state your name, affiliation before asking your question. And again, we can ask questions not only of Coach Freeman, but of our two student athletes. Our first question will be on the left for Mr. Tim Reynolds.
Tim Reynolds with the Associated Press. Riley, when you're being evaluated, it's not really up to you if you're coming back or not. What was your level of concern for those few minutes? What was the fear factor like, and did you have any doubt that you'd be able to get back out there and do what you did in the second half?
Yeah, I think our medical support team, first and foremost, did a really good job. Got up a little wobbly, so that's an indicator that they got to bring me to the 10 and go take me through all the concussion tests. So we went through all the tests, and they decided I was good to go back. But we definitely took our time and evaluated my numbers from this summer when I took a brain test to what I performed in the tent. So past that, and Steve Angeli, this is a guy who has kind of waited his turn and all year has prepared like he's a starting quarterback every single week, showing a lot of maturity, and he helps me out a lot. He's a guy on the sideline who knows exactly what the defense is doing, and he's a good friend of mine, and I appreciate him a lot. So for him to go in and drive him down the field 3 points before half, that was big.
Our next question.
Priester from Irish Illustrated. Riley, did you maybe overthink some things a little bit in the first half, making some checks, and by just keeping it simple in the second half, did that allow you to perform at a higher level? Yeah,
we didn't really have too much of an altering game plan. There were some checks that I could have made in the first half, but overall I knew what the defense was giving me. We just knew what to get to in the second half. But no, I saw it well, and obviously didn't perform on a couple plays, but I can live with that. If I didn't throw that ball to J2, which I overthrew for an interception, I would have regretted it. So I'm confident in my progression. That was the right throw. Just got to execute, but I can live with that. If I were to not throw it and hesitate, that's one thing. But I let it fly, and then it got picked, but that's all right.
Coach Freeman, could you comment on the performance of the offensive line after you had to put two substitutions in the lineup? And number two, how did you manage to loosen things up so much offensively in the second half? You scored 24 points.
Yeah, we got a lot of confidence in the offensive line room, and when Knapp goes down, Tosh Baker has to go in, and when Rocco goes down, Charles Jagasaw has to go in, and we got a lot of confidence in them. I think the situation right before half, you got a new quarterback in there. Is it a 2-minute situation, or they're trying to rush upfield, and they made some plays. But they were able to, as I told the offensive staff and the team in the locker room, we have to be able to run the ball. We got to stop the run. That's not changing. We said that going into the game, and we're saying that at halftime. And we had to make some adjustments, which we did. We had to try to calm some things down. And you know what? The rushing attack truly helped us open some things in the passing game in that second half. And you know what? Riley just executed. The wideouts executed. The O-line did their job. Tight ends played well. And you find a way to win it in a game-winning field goal. So it was going to be a battle. And we didn't have great production the first half, and it was a 7-point game. And I told them, we get the ball the first series of the second half. And we just got to go out and execute on this play. But I wanted them to understand we did not play to our standard in the first half. And credit to Penn State for what they did on both sides of the ball. But it was a 7-point game. It didn't feel like that going into the locker room, but it was a 7-point game, and our guys went out there and performed that second half.
Our next question.
Marcus, your age was brought up at yesterday's press conference. I guess I'll be one of the first to say happy birthday to you. Where's this rank in terms of how you started one of your birthdays?
Well, 13 years ago, I had a daughter, Sienna, born on the same day as me, and so for the past 13 years, she gets all the birthday credit. And but this is special. Again, this is a special moment that a lot of hard work has been put into it, and it's not about a birthday, man. This is just about a moment and enjoying this moment together.
And then on the final drive where you kicked the field goal, how hard was it to strike a balance of being aggressive but also being careful, knowing you don't want to give Penn State the ball back there as well?
Yeah, we were in we had great communication in terms of what we were going to do. I wanted to see are they going to call timeout, right? If they're not going to call timeout, then I had to have a plan. Hey, when do we want to use our timeouts? And once we figured out what they were going to do, we said, okay, we want to center this ball on third down. Center the ball on third down, and on center the ball on second down. On third down, that's when we decided to do the QB sneak because they called a timeout, and they executed it flawlessly. Nobody panicked. It was great communication. Riley kept everybody under control, and we knew we were in range where Mitch could make that field goal. And he is a confident guy, man. There is no moment too big for Mitch Jeter. And I had a lot of confidence in him in that moment. He was going to do exactly what he did, and he did a great job at doing it.
If I can, I was curious about the beginning of the drive and sort of like how you decide what this kind of attack is in that situation.
Yeah, we knew we had, I don't know exactly where the ball was, at the plus 42. We knew we wanted to get the ball as close to the 30-yard line as we could. Listen, if we could have went down and scored, we would have. But we knew at this moment, let's get the ball at least to the 30. And if we're not going to score a touchdown, let's run as much time off the clock as we can. But we didn't want to leave us with zero time. So we had to be smart with how we utilize those 3 timeouts, and we did a good job. Mm-hmm.
Question right here on the left.
Coach Freeman said one with Irish Illustrated. You discussed the lift Jeremiah Love gave you in the second half. How are you able to use it in the second half?
Yeah, he was banged up. He was banged up, and he is a tough individual. And he didn't get a lot of practice reps. We were very calculated on what we asked him to do in practice. There was maybe a little doubt on my end, but the closer we got to the game, I said, okay, he's going to give it a go. And, the statistics maybe weren't there in the first half, but him being out there means something to everybody on that offense and everybody on our team. And in the second half, he made some Jeremiah Love plays. And, it speaks volumes to the heart he has. He gave everything he had to this place. He did not have to play today. And, nobody would have batted an eye. But he put team in front of himself and how he felt. And we got a whole bunch of guys like that in that locker room, and that's why we're in this position.
I know you're the heaviest man-to-man coverage team in the nation, but no receptions by Penn State's wide receivers against the cornerbacks. At some point during that game, did you realize we could adjust a little more and help out on the run when you have Christian and Leonard more on the outside?
Go ahead. You can start. Go ahead, man.
Coach Meek has always told us, challenge every time, and we just did our job, and we just kept them to 0 catches. So, yeah.
That's him, man. You know what I mean? Keep it simple. As a defensive mindset, when you have a lot of confidence in your corners to be able to play man-to-man coverage, it allows you to do a lot of different things with those 9 other people. But we can't always just play man, too, because that's how some of those big plays happen. You can scheme us up. But just those guys, one of my favorite play Christian made today, it wasn't a play on the passes when his guy cracked blocking the field and made a huge tackle. I think that was on third down. He gave, how much did he weigh? 190, 80, 70. He put all 175 pounds into that tackle, man. And, but that's, that hurts. That hurts. And he's made to play man coverage, but I don't know how much he signed up to throw his body in there against a 200-pound running back that runs physical, but that's the way we choose to play this game. That's what I told him in the locker room. That's what I told him before the game. We choose to play this game in a physical, very physical manner. And you know what? Like, you're going to have to play through some pain, but that moment in that locker room when we're singing that fight song and we're celebrating together, it numbs the pain. And I'm just proud of them, and grateful that we have these guys in our locker room.
Marcus, Dominic Miranda, NBC Indianapolis. It feels like this game was a microcosm of the journey you've been on this season to get to this point. Can you just talk about the resilience and response of this team to give this program a chance to win its first national title since 1988?
Yeah. I often tell them in your lowest moments, you find out the most about yourself. And we've had low moments, but we had a really low moment. We know week 2, and these guys battle. We got great leaders. We got great players that chose to put this university and this football program in front of themselves. And that, to me, is probably the single thing that I'm probably most proud of, is how we have a group of individuals that truly put Notre Dame football in front of themselves. Like, I know Riley and Christian truly would rather be in that locker room celebrating than being up here. But that's what it takes. It takes 120 guys saying, you know what? Who cares how many plays I get? Who cares what type of individual praise I get? It's all for Notre Dame and to make sure we achieve team glory. And we have a locker room of guys made up of that. And that, to me, is a reflection of what you saw today. The guys that did whatever it took to find a way to make sure we achieve the outcome we want.
Miami Times.
Mark Starr with Miami Times. Coach, having a win down here, South Florida is huge on impacting just visuality to students and high school recruiting. What do you think a win like this locally here would do for you guys in recruiting in that aspect?
Winning helps everything, you know. There's a lot of coaches that are on the road right now recruiting, and fortunate for us, the best recruiting we can do is winning. But also, hopefully, the culture that is built here attracts recruits. And, this is a place, we know South Florida is a hotbed. South Florida has a lot of great football players. Hopefully we find the right ones that choose Notre Dame.
Riley, can you walk us through the moment of that third down play right before the field goal, knowing what you have to do, and then just kind of having to sit there on the sidelines while it feels like forever before Mitch finally hits that field goal?
Yeah, it's a really weird feeling. It's hard to describe the emotion that goes on during that time, and it's hard to describe the emotion that's going on right now even. But I think it's kind of funny to me because I kind of knew the kick was going to go in. Like, we all knew the kick was going to go in. The kid's just got ice in his veins. Like, anytime his number's called and he's got to make it, like, it's a lock. So shout out to Mitch Jeter there. And to the defense as well. Our job was to get 15 yards or so, get us in field goal range, and the rest is history.
And Marcus, I know you said you had all the confidence in Mitch, but how long was that between when Penn State called the timeout and when that kick went through? What are you feeling on the sidelines?
Let's go. Hey, I was more concerned with the protection than I am with Mitch Jeter. Our field goal protection has been a big point of emphasis the last few weeks, and that was what I kept thinking about. And when we had that timeout, was remind them of the fundamentals to execute the protection of protecting the field goal. And Mitch, I leave Mitch alone. He's in his lane, let him do what he does. But I had to make sure those big guys didn't get lost in the moment. It was about execution in that moment, and they did a good job in protection.
Christian, Adam Lichtenstein, South Florida Sun-Sentinel. What did you see on the interception, and when did it start to sink in that you just made, probably the biggest play of your career and going to help send your team to the national title game?
To be honest with you, I really didn't think about anything after I caught the ball. I just knew I was just blessed, and I just felt God over me after I caught the ball. So pretty much, yeah.
He's special. I mean, he is. All these guys are special, man. And he won't take credit for it, but he, in the biggest moments both of these two and many guys in that locker room find ways to make plays when it matters the most. We're playing USC a couple weeks ago, and they're going in to try to make this a one-score game, and he had some plays earlier that didn't go his way. But on that play versus USC, when they went at him, he picked the ball off and ran it back for a touchdown. And so that's what Christian Gray does. He makes plays when it matters the most. And, you know, it wasn't a perfect day for him. I think he got a DPI or a holding or something like that. But in that moment, Christian had to make a play, and he did. And it was a huge reason why we won that game.
Hey, guys in the back, Pete Byrne, WSBT. It's for all three of you, actually. Players come to Notre Dame, coaches coach at Notre Dame for the hope of winning a national championship and the belief that that's possible. I'm curious for each of you, now that you're 60 minutes away, what does that mean?
Yeah, throughout this whole offseason, everybody would ask me like, why I came to Notre Dame. And I'll give a lot of different answers, but the truth is I came here to win a national championship and, you know, to go to the best team that would give me the best odds to do that. And, you know, obviously this is the right place and I made the right decision. So, I mean, that's why I came here at the end of the day.
Really, I just trusted God and I trust the coaches here. They saw potential in me. They saw greatness in me, and I believed them on that. So I just came there because of the trust and the community and everything here. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think any competitor wants to be a part of a place that the expectations are to win championships. And we all had a decision to make when we chose Notre Dame as the place we want to either coach or play at. But there's more to this place than that, too. We know every year we compete. The expectation is to win championships, but there's more to this university and what it provides for young people. It's a special place that young people get to grow in their faith, they get to grow in community, they get to make connections that are going to help them for the rest of their lives. And so every football season, this is the expectation, although we haven't achieved it. But there's also a lot of things that this university does for these young people that will carry them throughout the rest of their lives.
Marcus, Pat Forty from Sports Illustrated. You not only had to put Steve Angeli in the game in a critical moment, but you let him let it rip. I mean, you know, he's back there throwing the biggest passes of his career. What's the confidence level, and where's that come from in him and all the other backup guys that you ended up having to play?
Yeah, it's earned. We got a lot of confidence in Steve and those other guys that had to step up when their numbers is called. And Pat, they earned that confidence in practice, right? And Steve's earned it in some game opportunities, but you earn the confidence from your coaching staff and from your teammates in practice. And so if you're thrust into this opportunity out in the game where everybody else can see you, that's when they get to learn about you. But, you know, we had a lot of confidence, Steve, in what he can do. And we weren't just going to put him in there to hand the ball off. We were going to try to go to score, and we ended up scoring 3 points.
In the rear.
Andrew Chernoff, Wish TV in Indianapolis. Marcus and Riley, making this run, the whole country is watching. What do you hope the country is learning about your program?
Sorry, where are you at? Oh, okay. What I think the country's learning about our program, I think the biggest thing is just culture wins. You see a bunch of talented guys, you know, across our locker room, but you can see that anywhere in the country. I think at the end of the day, it's, you know, which guys are putting their bodies on the line and doing everything they can for the man next to them. Nobody's thinking about draft stocks or next year or anything like that, any type of individual glory. We're all thinking about the man beside us. And I think, you know, we kind of proved throughout the season that culture wins, and, you know, it's a special place for a reason.
Yeah, I'll follow up what Riley says with I hope people that see this football team that aren't with us every day sees a bunch of individuals that put team in front of themselves. And that's a lesson that is going to help you achieve great things in football, but great things in life. You have to be selfless to achieve anything great. I mean, we got a locker room full of selfless players and selfless coaches. And the time you're tested the most is when you're at your lowest point. We lose to Northern Illinois, and you got a decision. Do I want to be selfless, or I'm going to put individual glory ahead of myself? And I hope the nation sees that no matter what the situation was, this team continues to put Notre Dame in front of myself.
I believe we have our final 3 questions, and the people asking them already identified. Here's the first of the 3.
Richard Johnson, CBS Sports for Riley. Riley, either when you were down right after you got hit in the first half or in the tent, was there a worry or concern that your night might be done?
No, I was very aware of, how I felt. I just had to prove that through our brain cognition tests. But yeah, I knew, like, I got a little wobbly there for a second, but I knew whenever I was in the tent, like, I was all good. So there wasn't a worry at all. No.
Hard head, man.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
All right, question 2 of the final 3 is right here, and then this will be the 3rd and final question.
Vahid Sadarzadeh, ABC 57 South Bend. Can you guys just speak, he's not up here, Jeremiah Love, can you speak to the grittiness that he portrayed tonight, especially on that touchdown run? What is it like for him to battle through that injury? Obviously, he wasn't 100%, but what was it like for him to be out there and grit through this game?
I've already answered that on my end, but I want you guys to answer that. Go ahead.
I'll speak on J Love real quick. J Love is a guy that doesn't show too much emotion until he gets the opportunity to be the leading blocker for me. It's kind of funny out there. He's a real quiet kid, but whenever he has the chance to go knock a D end and pull to block for me, that's when he starts to chirp. So I think it's like, the best feeling in the world when he's only talking trash whenever the ball's not even going to be in his hands. So he's a special, special person, and one that I love sharing the backfield with.
Okay, and this is going to be our final question.
He was going to answer
was
about
it
J Love.
I'm sorry.
He wants to talk about J Love too. Go ahead, baby. You get to talk about J Love, Christian.
Man, I've been going against J Love since like freshman year of high school and everything, and he's just that guy. He's just that guy. Ever since freshman year, he's been scoring touchdowns like crazy. So knowing J Love and his personality, man, the future is bright for him. Not gonna lie.
Hey guys, Andrew Sagona with Reddit CFB. I actually have the perfect question to wrap this up. How do you guys feel, and this is for all 3, how do you guys feel about knowing that you have an extra day off that the winner of the Cotton Bowl is not going to have?
You know what? The greatest thing is that there's one day guaranteed you don't have to stress. Like, we don't know who we're going to play. And so let's enjoy tonight. Let's enjoy tomorrow. Or hopefully we can watch the game or try to as a fan. I don't know if we will. But, the minute that we find out who wins that game, you go into competition mode. You're starting to prepare, coaches and players. But the best thing is, we have one day extra physically to get healthy, but the mental strain that it has on you preparing for an opponent, and it's tough. And I hope these guys for one day can enjoy this moment, enjoy not having an opponent. We'll have a happy flight home, and then Saturday we got to get to work.
Yeah, it would be great to have that extra day for my body, for sure.
Yeah, same thing right here. Extra day.
Well, I want to thank Coach Freeman, obviously, and our 2 student athletes, our MVP.